morning again. I'm Susan Abraham talking from Santa Fe, New Mexico. And you can see in the background a bit of our juniper pinyon pine forest, which is very different from the East Coast. And I just wanted to segue with where I am right now on the opposite side of the water issue, where this year Virginia's gotten an abundance of rain, and we are praying for rain still to catch up with what we should have. But that being said, I just wanted to talk about the Confluence Park and the entrance, the Woodland entrance, where we start. And we started with a bare knoll of grass. And one of the funny things that happened to me was when I was designing that area is most of the folks on the committee park didn't realize there was an elevation change there, which presents a lot of opportunities for niches and different things to happen in a woodland. And that's what turf will do. It will mask the topography of your site. And it's just been a real transition. It's really fabulous. And if you look at the photos and the videos, or if you're able to take a stroll through there, you'll immediately see the little knoll that gives you a view all around the park that no one would really go to if it were just a sunny, exposed, grassy area. So that was interesting for us to reveal and learn. And as I said earlier, you know, there weren't too many butterflies or dragonflies or amphibians or even birds in that part of the park. Today, we've transformed it. We've suppressed the turf. We did not strip it out or spray it. We just smothered it with community leaves, community shavings, community chips from trees that came down the community. So we've continued to do that. And we've planted in trees and shrubs. We had some big ashes come down, so that's changed the trajectory of planting the forbs and the grasses and the ferns. Because we need a bit more shade now. So we're going to bump up some of those plantings. And I think in another year or so, we'll have enough shade to really start to get in some ferns and some of those other forbs that need cover and a little bit cooling from the sun. So you'll see that transition. This is a living landscape, which means over time, it just continues to mature, wane, burst forth. All sorts of things are happening. And one of the happy things that are happening is now some regeneration. And in that park, you'll see lots of little buds, lots of little seedlings of dogwood and of redbud, and some of the oaks even came up. And we even found a couple of sycamore. So that's been very exciting to see that, and just to try to keep that stable so we can see that lower level of trees coming up, and they will function as cooling elements, as shrubs, until they get higher. But in nature, Mother Nature doesn't, you know, come in and grid out the park and plant it in a perfect scenario. She's trying all sorts of things in niches to try and, reconstitute herself constantly. So we're seeing that in the park now, which is really exciting. The other thing we're seeing is birds nesting, bluebirds hunting, birds coming in and chattering. It's constant. It's constant in this area now. We have a bench there finally, so we can sit and just enjoy it and see what's happening. And if you do that, you'll also see the quieter, smaller pollinators coming in. There's a big swath of St. John's wort that comes through that area of the park, and it's just a buzz. I mean, it's just amazing when those flowers come out. That never would have happened if the leadership of this community had not foreseen what it could be. And that's what I want to just encourage communities to do. I think we all have a responsibility to be stewards here, good stewards. And HOAs, communities have a great opportunity to do that. And over time, the management of this park will shift to other areas. The investment of monies will eventually start to draw down, and it'll just be management on a much smaller area. And when I say management, I mean something different than maintenance. I mean, there's maintenance of trails and things to keep it safe and clean and open, but then there's management of the systems in the park. And that takes a little bit of knowledge outside of conventional landscape points of view. And so I've partnered with Manuel Rivas of Northern Virginia Property Services, and he's been a great support for all of us. He and his crew come in and they take a look at what's happening every month, assess it, we come up with a plan what to do, and then they go in and take care of whatever the problems are. This year we had a big invasive problem in the meadow, and they really have educated themselves on what those invasives are, and they come in and are monitoring it, treating it, and helping it come back to itself. So you really need a group, a partnership on the ground with folks who understand that this is not going in every month and doing the same tasks. What it is going in every month, and the same task is assessment. Taking a look at what's working, what's not working, what needs help, what doesn't need help, and then assisting the park to just become more and more alive. And that's what they do. And the woodland now is cooler. When a breeze comes through, you feel it and you see it, unlike if you were just sitting on, some turf. So we see that, we can see the pond, we can see who's living there, and we can see what's happening and the connection between the bioswale, a wetland little area, to this very low little knoll, which is very dry now. So right next to each other, you can see some very different dynamic systems that are very different, but they interact, and that ecotone is very important for habitat for all sorts of wildlife, and we see that maturing out as well. I saw a woodland thrush come through, which I haven't seen in years, come through into the bioswale and then hop up into the woodland. And I didn't stay around too long, but that was amazing to see that happen in this small little area. So what I would say is, add some dynamic systems into your community and you will see it change very quickly. And that's what's happening at Confluence Park.